The T-Mobile Revel, a T-Mobile exclusive smartphone. Feels really nice in hand. Now, this isn't as premium as some of my recent devices that I've brought in 2017, like the LG G6, the HTC U11, or the Samsung Galaxy S8. But it feels really nice in hand. I cannot wait to begin the reviewing process on this device, especially in the camera areas. I want to see how it's going to do up against those devices that I just named off. Now, the box itself, nice presentation. Got this brushed metal look to it, very nice. This device was made by Alcatel. I don't know if you noticed on the wall charger during the unboxing, it says Alcatel. They are partnered up with TCL. They began a joint venture back in 2004. So you can read a little more about that venture on the web if you'd like to do so. The one thing about the back of this device, it is a fingerprint magnet, so I will be using a case. It is a plastic back. You got a metal frame, and on the front, that's your earpiece, and I'm hoping that's a speaker, and I'm hoping that's a speaker. We're going to find out in this video if those are both speakers or if this is just your earpiece and a speaker, and this is your area where you'll be speaking into when you're making phone calls and receiving phone calls and talking to whoever you are talking to. So yeah, everything looks really nice on the device. You got your volume rocker on the right, your power button there, the low, not USB Type-C, regular USB charging there. You got your mic down there. On this side, you have diddly squat. Up top, you have another mic and your headphone jack, so that is nice. It looks like you're going to be able to take the back off. Well, there we go. Just found something out I didn't know. And you cannot remove the battery. And this is where you'll be placing your nano SIM. Right there. Fingerprint sensor, 13 megapixel camera. And over here, you'll be able to use your SD card. In this SD card slot, you can add up to 128 gigs of extra memory. Very nice. So yeah, I'm kind of digging that. Again, this is plastic, shiny plastic. And I do suggest a case on any smartphone. Even though I paid 125 smacks, $20 extra for the upgrade fee in store. I could have gotten that $20 waived if I had ordered online, but I wanted to go in store today and pick this up. So let's go ahead and take this off. Wow. Beautiful. All right, so let's go ahead and power up the T-Mobile Revel. But I do want to say this. I've already powered up this device. I've already set it up. So I got my fingerprint in here. I got my security pattern. I downloaded a couple apps: Power Amp to play my music, MX Player to play my videos. Got a couple movies in here. I got some music in here. I already did test out the speaker. I wanted to cut this process down a little bit so I didn't take too long. Most of us know the process in setting up a device. Okay, this is basically stock Android 7.0 Nougat. It's a pretty simple process. You got like 3 or 4 T-Mobile apps in here, and I'll show you that. But yeah, I wanted to speed up the process a little bit and get to some specs and test out a couple areas in this overview. So let's go ahead and power it up for the second time. You could hear the vibration motor. It is very strong, and I really like that. So what we got here is a 5.5 inch IPS Full HD display. You got a front-facing flash that is an earpiece, and that is your 5 megapixel shooter on the front. Now, I will say this. I mentioned earlier in the video, I didn't know if these were front-facing speakers. I checked the manual, the guide. It says this is a speaker and this is a speaker. In the illustration in the manual, that's what it's indicating. I remember I already got my Power Amp music player on here, and when I put some music on there, I tested that out, and there's only music coming through here. When I'm playing a movie, there's only sounds. The sounds from the videos are coming through here. So this is not a speaker. I'm very disappointed in that, especially in that manual when it's saying these 2 areas are speakers. This is the only speaker that you will hear any sound from. This is your earpiece. Again, that is a big disappointment to me. I was hoping that those were front-facing speakers. 2. But we only got 1 down here. And at least it's there. It could have been here. It could have been on the back. I like it there, but, well, anyway. So this is my pattern. It's a simple pattern. Once that is recognized, it'll go to finish the boot up. So let's get back to the specs. Underneath the hood, you got 2 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of internal storage. You can expand that with an SD card up to 128 gigs of extra memory, which is really, really cool. On the back, you have your 13 megapixel shooter, and you have your flash, and you have your fingerprint reader, which I like on the back and not on the front. I mean, I don't mind it on the front. I deal with that, but I prefer it on the back. Okay. I'm a little picky, but I'm not too picky. Okay. It's not obviously on my HTC U11, it's on the front, and I've gotten used to that, but I prefer it back here. So I really dig that. So now we go ahead and test out the fingerprint sensor. And on the initial boot up, so if you turn your device up, even after the first boot up, let's say you need to turn your device off and you turn it back on and you've set up a pattern or 4-digit code, it's going to ask you for that pattern or the digit code. And however you set it up, you don't have to set it up there. I just do it for extra security. Now, after that initial setup and you've done the pattern or the code, all you have to do is touch the fingerprint sensor / scanner, reader, whatever you want to call it, and your device will automatically come on. Remember, this is a $125 device. Okay. You're obviously, now we know we're not going to have front dual speakers. I thought we were. Big disappointment. You're not going to have USB Type-C. I wish we had USB Type-C. It's not going to have wireless charging. It's not going to have fast charging. It's not going to have water resistance. Okay. And you're saying, well, what does it have? Well, remember, it's $125. You have a beautiful 720p large 5.5 inch display. You do have a headphone jack. That's still there. You have expandable memory, which is really cool. And you got Nougat on this device, 7.0 Nougat. And I'm sure that T-Mobile will update that to 7.1. And you basically got stock Android here. So there are some perks, depending on what you want out of a budget device. There's going to be some areas on here that are going to be sort of in the mid-range area, but it's mostly a budget device. But yeah, it's not going to have a lot of those other perks. Again, $125. At this point, I'm liking what it has. I think I'd have been more satisfied if it had those front dual speakers and it at least had USB Type-C for 125. There's devices you can buy at that price that may have a little more, maybe a little less. 3,000 milliamp battery, 720p. As far as your display resolution, that should give you decent battery life. So there's this give and take, and you have to pick and choose what you want or what you don't want on a device. Okay. So with that being said, that's a quick overview on the, I don't know if I mentioned MediaTek MT6738 as far as the processor. So that's a quick overview as far as that. I cut some of the process as far as the boot up. Again, I wanted to put some music on here, and I wanted to put a couple movies on here, just test out some areas here. So let's go to my MX player really quick. And I got 6 movies. So let's go ahead and we're going to turn down the volume because we don't want to have any copyright issues, right? We don't want that. So I'm going to change the aspect ratio so we can get this on full screen. Brightness is all the way up. Let's go. And that's 720p. So what you're getting here is warmer colors. That's the IPS. These aren't cool colors. But what we're looking for, even though AMOLED is my favorite over IPS, as long as I have a really good IPS and the picture is sharp and vivid, then I don't mind it. At 720p, this is sharp, this is vivid. It's always going to look better on my side than how you're seeing this through this video. It looks very sharp, very vivid, yes, warmer colors, but I don't mind that because I'm getting everything else I want from it. So it looks really, really nice. Yeah, looks great. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the app drawer. As you can see, stock Android. There's a T-Mobile app there, right there, and right there. So 4 T-Mobile apps. Very simple, very easy. As far as fluidity, we can go to Google page there, and you can see that is pretty darn fast. I like that. You got your toggles. Again, Android Nougat 7.0. We'll go all the way down, and you can see that right there. And that's your basic setup. As far as your settings, you got gestures. You got turn over to mute, turn over to activate alarm, screen gestures, double tap screen to turn display on, double tap idle, home screen space to turn display off. So you can see that there. 3-finger screenshot, so and you get a screenshot. I turn all that off. I don't need all that. But this is just a quick overview, okay? So it's just your basic Android Nougat 7.0 setup. On screen buttons, you got your recents, your home, and your back. So one page only. And let's get into Power Amp and go ahead and just play a little bit of music. Speakers. $125 is going to get you some areas that you're going to want, and then you're not going to get some areas that you wish you had. You have to figure out what the trade-off is worth to you. Is it worth $125, or do you want to pay a little more and get something that's going to have a little more there for you? It's who you are. It's what you want. All right, T-Mobile Revel. Right after this video, you will be seeing a pic slideshow. I took some pictures really quick inside my man cave, so you can check that out as well. As far as device comparison, you can see that I have the U11 And the T-Revel, a little bit wider, and you got that protruding camera lens right there on the T-Revel. Just a tad bit on the U11, not a lot. A little bit thicker, the T-Revel is. And you got the LG G6. These are my recent devices. I used to have the Sony Xperia XA1 Ultra. I returned that to get my money to help buy a pool for our family, so I don't have that device. Would have been a nice challenge. Again, as far as specs on these flagship devices, some of you may not call the LG G6 a flagship. There's a couple areas that would make it a definite flagship that are not there. But to me, it is. It's one of those underrated flagship devices. You can call it a mid-range flagship if you want. I don't know. It's to each their own on that. It's your opinion. But as far as what I have, these are top-tier devices. This is the S8. You can see a lot smaller. Okay. Yeah. Where I'm wanting to compare this device, this budget device, to these other three devices, and maybe some other, is in the camera area when shooting video and taking pics. As far as spec wise, you're not going to get this device to take out these devices when it comes to the overall spec war and performance. Okay, T-Mobile came out with a device for the consumer, an affordable budget device that would give you some areas that would get you through the day, that it would be adequate performance, that it would be adequate functionality, that enough is here for $125 to, it could be a daily driver, a backup, a good back to school device, those learning how to use a device, a smartphone coming from a flip phone, like my mother-in-law, who's been using a flip phone for years, and now she's using a regular smartphone. So easy to learn with a stock Android device. So there's many reasons to look into a device like this. Again, if you want more, you want water resistance, you want fast charging, you want wireless charging, you're going to pay a little more, and you can get that. But if some of those areas aren't necessary for you and you're just looking for a backup, or you just can't afford a lot and you want something that's going to get you through the day, I'm hoping after I review this device, it will do that for you. So we'll see. T-Mobile's thinking about the consumer. I hope that later on they actually come out with more of a mid-range, maybe even a flagship, an exclusive T-Mobile type device. So we'll see. But I see what they're doing here, and that gives a lot of consumers an option to not spend a lot of money. But again, what is it that you want? What is it that you don't want on a device? And that's where you have to check your pocketbooks and see what you want to invest in. So there you go. T-Mobile, T-Revel. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Thanks for being a part of my Project 13, because you are my Project 13 piece. If you like this video, leave a thumbs up. After the vid, Pixelite Show.